El secretario del Tesoro sigue dando lecciones de lo que está ocurriendo como parte de los presupuestos económicos dentro de los Estados Unidos. Estuvo, por supuesto, en una gira de medios durante el fin de semana y tuvo que dar respuesta concreta acerca de cuestionamientos por parte de la prensa, porque la prensa está intentando sermonear al secretario del Tesoro. Están diciendo que solo hay dos opciones con el tema de China. La opción es dejar que China haga lo que le da la gana o permitir que todos los precios suban fuera de control dentro de las fronteras de los Estados Unidos. Hay una retórica constante diciendo habrá menos inventario, habrá precios más altos, y el secretario del Tesoro cree que esto no es absolutamente así. Hubo un careo que quiero compartir con ustedes. Evidencia.
The reality is there will either be less inventory or things at higher prices or both.
When we were here in March, you said there was going to be big inflation. There hasn't been any inflation. Actually, the inflation numbers are the best in 4 years. So why don't we stop trying to say this could happen and wait and see what does happen?
Le está diciendo claramente a la periodista: en marzo dijiste que la inflación iba a ser incontenible, la inflación ha bajado considerablemente. Espera por los hechos para que puedas valorarlo. Realmente hacer periodismo no es ser adivino. Todo eso que has estado diciendo puede no concretarse, como mismo pasó con el tema de la inflación. No se dejó intimidar y eso fue lo que respondió concretamente. Él estuvo hablando también aquí sobre el tema de los precios. Ella le dijo que Walmart, Best Buy y Target están advirtiendo lo que en realidad viene. Él le contestó: yo sé lo que viene. Incluso tú estás hablando solamente de Walmart, de Best Buy y de Target. Yo tengo toda la información de parte de Home Depot y también de Amazon. Sabemos también lo que publicó, le dijo, la prensa china en las últimas 24 horas. Dijeron que el 65% de los aranceles probablemente recaerá sobre los productos chinos. De una manera muy fina le dijo a la periodista: estás repitiendo propaganda china para dar argumentos sobre una crisis que estás describiendo y que no ha ocurrido. En este tono, el gran Steve Bannon ha analizado el tema de los aranceles y las prácticas comerciales desleales de China en una conversación sostenida con Spencer Morrison. Desde su perspectiva, estuvieron hablando acerca de estos temas y las negociaciones arancelarias que están en pausa, porque están en pausa. Ahora mismo hay grandes análisis y negociaciones entre países. Sin embargo, la prensa está culpando a los aranceles de situaciones concretas en este momento. Señores, en este momento no es culpa de ningún arancel, porque los aranceles están pausados, están anunciados, pero no son ahora mismo concretos. Son un mecanismo para negociar, están en pausa. La tasa arancelaria efectiva aún sigue siendo la misma. No está ocurriendo aún. Entendámoslo. Así lo explican. Evidencia.
On where we are, because this is the deal that everything revolves around. Where we are right now, and where do you think this thing's going?
Steve, thanks for having me on the program. I love coming on War Room. You guys got the best people, and we give you the best information. So right now, the tariffs negotiations, they're paused. They're paused for 90 days. The effective tariff rate right now is about 51%. That includes your 20% fentanyl rate, the 10% base rate on top of that. And then, of course, there's tariffs on aluminum, on steel, on automobile parts. There's de minimis tariffs, which are higher as well. So your effective tariff rate right now is about 50%. So it's lower than it was when the negotiations started, but it's just about where it needs to be. I'd like to see it get up to just over 60%, but we're almost where we need to be. The reality is here, from my perspective, China joined the World Trade Organization in 2001, and in doing so, they made a ton of commitments that they would play fair, that they wouldn't steal intellectual property, that they would allow access to American companies and to Chinese markets, and they didn't do any of that. They've scrapped and nixed and weaseled out of every agreement that they've ever signed in relation to trade, because the point of trade for China has nothing to do with fair business. They don't care about American industry. They don't care about the American people. They only care about enriching the Communist Party. And part and parcel of that is their trade policy. You have to understand that China's entire economic system is geared towards ripping off America. What they've done is there's two prongs to it. The first prong is the unfair trade practices, which are netting them approximately $400 billion a year or more in the trade deficit. And then the second part of that is the intellectual property theft. China is responsible for about 80% of all global intellectual property theft. It costs America anywhere between 225 and 600 billion every single year. Every single year. So China is stealing almost $1 trillion worth of product every year. This is all about enriching the Communist Party of China. And President Trump is the first president to fight back against this in over 50 years.
China se ha robado 2 siglos de desarrollo de la humanidad en apenas 40 años, robando propiedad intelectual, copiando lo que otros han fabricado. Eso es lo que ha ocurrido en los últimos años. Ese es el tal esplendor chino. Prácticas comerciales desleales. Mejor explicado, imposible. ¿Qué más dice este experto? Evidencia.
I want people to understand, I just want to give some math, because Miles used to talk about this all the time. The trade deficit since the Chinese Communist Party has come into the World Trade Organization and most favored nation status. And remember, folks, always remember that after Tiananmen, which we're going to commemorate starting Tuesday evening at 6 p.m. on the War Room, follow up Wednesday morning. We do it Tuesday evening because it'll be dawn in Tiananmen Square. Is that it was Scowcroft and Bush 41 that bailed out the Chinese Communist Party. They were on the ropes. How were they on the ropes? The Chinese people, particularly students throughout the country. This is one of the reasons Miles was just a young man at the time. It's one of the reasons he participated and got rolled up in the arrest after after what 10, 20, 30,000 killings. Miles actually told me he thought it was closer to 50,000 or more throughout the country. It just wasn't in Tiananmen. But he would always talk about it. It's not just they've lied about everything. The trade deficit is we have $36 trillion in debt. We have $25 trillion in a trade deficit, $18 trillion directly associated with China and the Chinese Communist Party. But we have an intellectual property deficit, I think, of $25 trillion, which is the accumulation of the $300 billion to $600 billion a year. And that's just not simply from industrial espionage. That is because Wall Street and the corporations have basically been kowtowed that if you want to have anything to do with mainland China, you have to put it into a joint venture. Your joint venture partner is the Chinese Communist Party. And one of the things you have to do is like almost a license deal to the joint venture where all your intellectual property goes in and they just steal it right there and reverse engineer it.
Todo el sistema económico de China está orientado en una sola dirección. Todo el sistema económico de China está orientado a estafar a los Estados Unidos. Esa es la meta. Si tú consigues estafar a los Estados Unidos, has resuelto el problema. Eso es concretamente lo que hace China. Hay vertientes, pero el presidente Trump es el primero que en 50 años le pone el cascabel al gato con el tema chino. Ha dicho este experto, China se saltó 2 siglos en 40 años. ¿Cómo? Plagiando. Evidencia.
So those numbers on the intellectual property theft, they come from the report from the U.S. Trade Commission. There's been a number of reports that have been done. The problem is that those joint ventures, I mean, that's all essentially done legally. So that's not even included in the IP theft that we're talking about. So the scope, the actual scope of the technological transfer to China is even higher than that. You have to understand, I mean, China was largely an agrarian society even 50 years ago. I mean, look at what they've done. I mean, they're producing about 40 times the concrete, 23 times the steel every year that we are. They've got supercomputing on par with us. They're producing most of the world's silicon computer chips. I mean, China is an industrial power that produces 3 times the raw output that the USA does. China's it's a technological power. I mean, they're creating, not creating, they're stealing a lot of technology and they're building upon that, right? So what China has done is they've leapfrogged about 2 centuries in the last 40 years. And this was done through stealing technology and, like you said, Steve, forcing American companies with the promise of accessing these Chinese markets to go into joint ventures with Chinese companies. And you know what happens is the American company comes in, they bring in their technology, they bring in people to train the Chinese people on how to do these. And my great grandfather actually did this. He was an aircraft engineer, and he was one of the people who went into China and was teaching the Chinese how to build aircrafts. And of course, what happened is China reneged on their end of the bargain. After they learned how to build the products, they didn't allow American companies to access the Chinese markets. Instead, they stonewalled them out, and they came out with copycat products. And now they're competing with Americans and European companies all throughout the world. I mean, you look at Huawei.
El método ha sido muy sencillo y no se trata de un gran espionaje industrial. Los chinos no han tenido que hacer un gran espionaje industrial. Simplemente para poder acceder a sus fuentes de producción, las empresas en los Estados Unidos lo que han hecho son negocios conjuntos. Hacen un negocio conjunto asociados a una empresa china que solo responde al Partido Comunista Chino. Vamos a entenderlo de una vez y por todas, y esa empresa termina robándose la propiedad intelectual, termina duplicándolo todo, termina copiándolo todo, y en verdad no hay a quien reclamarle. Prevalece el criterio de que hay que hacerlo todo con una empresa conjunta china para poder avanzar en medio de todos estos temas. Y de esta manera ellos siguen campeando por su respeto. El dato es concreto. En 40 años de robo, China se ha saltado 2 siglos de desarrollo de la humanidad. Pausa y volvemos.